All right, everybody, good morning. I think it's about time we get back to these rookies, even though we only have a few more to get through. And now we're going to do an offensive lineman who I'm really happy we were able to get in UDFA because I figured this guy would get drafted. And he was definitely one of the guys that I circled when we signed him coming out of UDFA. And I definitely consider him to be one of the really intriguing ones. So I understand that right now there might not be a lot of room at the tackle position, especially if we like Michael Jarrell. Even if you move Forsyth, there might not be room for a Garret Greenfield. But if you think you can get him on the practice squad, I think that should be the plan. I think you should be thinking about getting this guy on your PS. You can train him up over a year or two. And this guy played a lot at both tackle positions in college. So in a year or two, when George Fant is gone, this could be a guy who makes your roster. If Abe Lucas's knee takes a turn for the worse and he has to retire, Greenfield could end up being in play. So lots of opportunities here for Greenfield. Let's talk about it. Let's do the numbers. Starting with the basics, he is a tackle. He's been playing left tackle for the last couple years, but he played a ton of right tackle early in his career. So could go either way. South Dakota State, very, very good South Dakota State team these last few years, by the way, relative to the competition they play. They're in the championship game like every year. 24 years old, older rookie for sure. Average height for a tackle, just shy of 6'6", 311 pounds, just below average for a tackle in the NFL. 33.5-inch arms, so his arms are a little short. 9 3/4-inch hands is also below average, so in those areas he's a little bit small. And his combine scores were mixed. The 40 time was okay, 5.22. 10-yard split was decent, 1.77. He set a record for vert. He set a record for a vertical from a tackle. 99th percentile, 38.5 inches. Insane stuff. And his broad jump was excellent as well. 9 foot 5 inches, 91st percentile. And he had about an average three cone, 7.76, and his 20-yard shuttle was below average. Maybe even bad, 4.85. I don't know. So, however you want to slice it, Garret Greenfield, very intriguing athlete here at the tackle spot. So, let's go through the career here, and it starts back in 2018. Now, 2018, whatever. He played 9 snaps in 3 games as a right tackle, came in at the back end of some garbage time opportunities, and did whatever. 2019, not too much better. 9 games, 84 snaps. It's an okay sample size, but again, he's mostly coming in as a reserve, as a backup. He's mostly just going in at the end of garbage time. Most of his snaps come at right tackle at this point. Does a lot of run blocking when he's in because the I think they're the Jackrabbits are usually running the clock out when he's in. A little bit more zone than gap. Graded out good, 73.2. Good pass blocking grade, but again, he's not pass blocking very much because the team isn't passing when they're ahead at the end of a blowout. So things don't get real until 2020. 10 games this year, and he was now a starter. 553 snaps, so that's over 55 snaps a game, so a good sample size. Allows 4 hits and 7 hurries, no sacks on his quarterback, and commits 1 penalty. So nice start to his career. Pretty much exclusively playing right tackle here. 1 snap at left. More run blocking than pass blocking. Again, the team he was on was relatively dominant, so they ran block a lot because they were always playing with the lead. More gap than zone as well. They ran significantly more gap-based runs than zone-based runs. Graded out pretty good. 67 overall. More pass blocking than run blocking according to PFF. Read into that as you will. But pretty good start to his career. And then in 2021, he became a true full-time player in that he participated in 15 games for South Dakota State, 865 snaps, so a significant bump up from even where he was last year as a mostly full-time starter. 3 sacks, 2 hits, 24 hurries. 24. So we don't love that. That's like 2 QB pressures a game allowed. Now, granted, most of them are hurries, which are by and large harmless, but they're not ideal either. Also 5 penalties, so he starts to rack up a few of those. Playing almost all of his snaps at right tackle, little bit over here at left tackle as well. Does a little more pass blocking than run blocking this year. Kind of interesting. They usually don't do that at South Dakota State. Zone and gap, almost an even split, 191 to 192. Graded out okay. Not really super exciting here. Pass blocking was okay. Run blocking was a little below average. Graded out overall, just kind of whatever. So everything changes in 2022. In 2022, they decide to move him out to left tackle full time. So he's out at left tackle, plays 15 games, over 900 snaps. Really, really good amount of experience here. 920 snaps, allows 2 sacks, 2 hits, 9 hurries. So he bumps out to left tackle, and his pass rush numbers all improve dramatically. He does commit 6 penalties. Not great, but that is 1 penalty every 2.5 games. So needs to be filtered through that understanding that he's not playing 12 games like a lot of these guys. He's playing 15. And again, pretty much all it left. More run blocking than pass blocking, 500 to 419. Way more gap than zone, almost 2 to 1. So mostly gap-based stuff. And he graded out well. Again, he grades out better as a pass blocker than a run blocker. 80 pass block, 64 run block, overall about a 70. So you can see that clearly he's more of a pass protector than a run blocker, and that bears out with what I see when I look at him. But note the improvement here. He's not letting his quarterback get hit nearly as often. He's now allowing, that's less than 1 quarterback pressure per game. Right? Less than 1 per game. So that's really good. That's a big bump up from 2021, even though he's playing more snaps. So it seems like this guy's more of a left tackle. I will say that. Most recent year, 2023, 15 games again, 832 snaps, 3 sacks, 2 hits, 4 hurries. So that's 9 QB pressures in 15 games. Really, really good in pass protection. 4 penalties. Reasonable number, I think, for a guy playing 15 games. I can live with that. Again, everything at left tackle. That's what he is now. I think he had 1 snap as a tight end. 455 run blocking, 376 pass blocking. So more running than passing, which you would expect for a team like this. And again, most of the run snaps are gap by almost 2 to 1. Graded out not as well this year because his run blocking was graded out poorly, but his pass blocking continues to be really good, which is probably why he excels at the left tackle spot, where pass protection is more important than right tackle. So you can kind of see him finding his home at the left tackle spot over these last couple years. So that is a rundown of his career so far, and his totals are as such. 67 games. 67 games. Hard to beat that. Not often you see a college player play 67 games. And I think like 10 or 11 of them were as a reserve, but regardless, it doesn't matter. It's still a crazy achievement here. 3,263 snaps, a lot of action, 8 sacks allowed, 10 hits, 44 hurries, 24 of them were in that 1 year where he was playing right tackle. So basically, half of what he gave up was in that 1 year. 16 penalties, reasonable, I think, when you're playing this much. 1,800 snaps as a left tackle, 1,450 as a right tackle. So whatever you want to say about how good he is at it, he has a lot of experience on both sides of the line. That's important. That's going to matter. 1,530 pass block snaps, 1,732 run block snaps. So a rare offensive lineman that has more experience run blocking than pass blocking, although it is worth noting he's clearly better at pass protection than he is run blocking. So I don't know if he's thrilled about that, but it is what it is. And you can also see that he has almost 1,000 snaps in gap-based running scheme plays, and not even 650 in zone. So he's got far more experience as a gap-based run blocker. Now, I don't necessarily believe that indicates what he will be as a pro. I'll get into why a little more later, but I do wonder if maybe part of his problem is that he would do better in zone-based schemes. That, I think, remains to be seen, and I think that is going to hinge on how well he can get coached up over the next several years. All right, so that is Garret Greenfield by the numbers. There's some impressive stuff here, man. The jumps that he did at the combine, the breadth of experience he has, the pass protection numbers he's put up, it's good. But how much of that is going to matter when we get to the 2024 season and he actually has to play against NFL level talent? Maybe he can hold it off until 2025 or 2026, but point is, what happens when he eventually has to play NFL caliber talent? All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks. More stuff coming soon.